everyone, so this is the pre-lab video for the flame test, also known as the best lab ever. So the first part you'll need to do is actually write down the purpose to determine what color elements have in flames, and this will make a little bit more sense as we go through the lab. The introduction, so here you actually have to do some research online. I want 1 to 2 paragraphs on the following, so what the flame test is, what it's used for, and what happens to electrons during this experiment. I need another paragraph on how to use the Bunsen burner. Include these 3 things, so like the bottom screw, the barrel, as well as the color of a proper flame. You need to look these things up online, find a good legit website like a .edu, and make sure that you cite your source. Don't forget paragraphs are at least 3 to 5 sentences, complete sentences, so make sure you have those in your, or for your introduction. The materials, you're going to write this down from the video that I'm going to show you in just a bit, and this should be in list form or bullets. Same thing with the lab safety. Some big things I do want you to make sure that you keep in mind for the lab safety, besides goggles, of course. I do suggest wearing an apron. Of course, roll up any loose sleeves. You'll see my sleeves are rolled up in the video. And make sure that your hair is tied back. You'll also want to make sure that there's nothing on your lab table except for the materials that you need and maybe 1 lab notebook. So none of the plastic boxes should be in there. And again, only 1 lab notebook for each pair or each group that's working on this, and then you can copy down the data from each other later. We're working with fire here, so you need to make sure that you're comfortable with it. We are going to be using matches, so know how to light a match. And the biggest thing is that you want to make sure that you put anything flammable away. So of course any paper should be clear away from the lab area. The procedures, you're going to go ahead and write these steps from the video as well, so look at what I'm doing, watch it a bunch of times if you need to, and just write down those steps. It can be just a numbered set of steps for yourself. So here's what we're doing with the flame test lab. Alright, so going through, and again, I'm sorry if this video takes a little while, you'll need 2 beakers, probably 2 different sizes. 1 beaker you're going to go ahead and fill with tap water. Make sure you know which one that beaker is. And then with the other beaker, you're going to go ahead and put some distilled water. Note that I don't put that lid for the distilled water on the table because it might contaminate it. So again, know which one is which. You'll also need nichrome wire, paper towels, matches, as well as the tubes for chemicals, and the Bunsen burner. So here's how you use a Bunsen burner. On the bottom there's a screw, so pretty much turn the screw 1/4 of the way clockwise and adjust the barrel so that there's a slight opening in it. You'll go ahead and put the hose on. Now work with 2 people, I just have 1 person here, so you'll actually turn on the Bunsen burner. Actually, I'm going to pause it right here, so I want you to see this. To turn on the gas, you want to make sure that the nozzle is parallel to the handle. So that's how you're turning on the gas. And you'll go ahead and light the match and put the match right next to the flame, or at least the gas that's coming out. If you don't feel comfortable lighting a match, call me over, or at least have someone in your group do it. If you're having trouble lighting the match, you don't want your gas to be on for like more than 10 seconds without being lit, because you're going to build up too much gas and then you're going to have a big poof of flame whenever you go to light your Bunsen burner. Also note that with the match, I blew it out and put it into the tap water, or made sure I extinguished the flame of the match with the tap water and then just went ahead and put that on that paper towel. So again, make sure that your match is fully extinguished before it goes in the paper towel. So here's the rest of the procedure. You're going to take that nichrome wire, dip it in the tap water, then the distilled water. You want to make sure you don't contaminate whatever substance is going to be in that tube. Go ahead and open the tube, put a little bit of the substance or that powder on the flame, or excuse me, on the nichrome wire, and then set it to the flame. So you'll notice here we're doing the first one in the dark. Then I'm rinsing it with tap water, rinse again with distilled water, and then do your second sample. So again, you always want to rinse with the tap water first, then rinse with the distilled water, pick up a little bit of the substance, and then put it in the flame. So you're going to keep doing that over and over again until you test each substance. This was in real time, so that probably took me about, I would say, 2 minutes to do at least the first 2 substances as well as setting it up. To clean up, you'll go ahead and wash out your beakers, and you will turn off the Bunsen burner. To turn off the Bunsen burner, I'm going to let you know here. Turn off the nozzle first on the handle. Excuse me. Turn off the handle. Make sure when the handle is off, it should be perpendicular to where the nozzle is, and then you'll just take off the hose. Another big safety thing is that if your Bunsen burner is on, there must be someone at your table that's pretty much guarding that Bunsen burner. When the lights are on, you can't really tell that there's a flame on, so somebody might knock into it or something like that. So you want to make sure someone is always guarding that Bunsen burner whenever it's on. The next thing you need in your lab notebook is your data table. So I've kind of already set up the columns for you. You'll need one column, 1 through actually 18. I just cut it off at 7, but you can add in the rest. Another column will be the formula for the compound. The other one will be the substance name. And then we'll do cation. Go ahead and put positive. Anion is negative. We'll discuss what those mean later on, but cation is just going to be the positive charged ions, anions the negatively charged ones, and then the observations. So when you come into lab, the first thing you're going to do is write down each of the compound formulas and the substance names. I will give that to you in a list, and there should be 18 of them. Then you'll go ahead and do the observations. After the lab, we'll do the cation and anion part together. You might want to double space your lines, and don't worry about the horizontal lines. That's why you have those blue lines in your composition notebook. These are the analysis questions. So do these after you've filled in all your observations. You can come back to this video later on if you need to, or just take a screenshot of this screen, as well as the next one. So the first one is group the substances based on the flame colors. So put all the reds together. So, 5 things turn red. List each one of them. If 3 things turn green, list each one of those as well. And then for number 2, write down what patterns you notice in each of those groupings as well. For 3, I want you to predict what the flame color would be for a substance called strontium sulfate and explain why you think it's going to be that way. 4 is what evidence do you have that atoms of certain elements produce a specific flame color. So I want you to give me evidence from your lab and from your observations as to why certain elements turn a certain color. For number 5, still with those analysis questions, can a flame test be used to identify a metal or a non-metal / ion? So give me evidence of each of those. And the last analysis question is to predict what color flame a copper oxide would end up being and explaining why. So again, you need to give me the evidence for all of this. Your conclusion will be in paragraphs. So 1 to 2 paragraphs will be a summary of what you did, the results, and what it means. So you're going to tell your reader of your lab notebook pretty much what you did in lab. Of course, you don't need to write down the gathering materials or anything like that. You do need to explain, though, what you did with the flame test. Another paragraph will be, I can now, like it starts out with now. So give me the practical lab techniques that you learned as a result of this lab and explain them. So again, that's another paragraph. And then the last few paragraphs will be, this lab helped me to learn. And then which chemistry concepts did you learn from this? And of course, explain it, giving me evidence for it. This is going to be 1 to 2 paragraphs. And don't forget, for each and every one of these, a paragraph is at least 3 to 5 sentences, and they should be full sentences. All right, so let me know if you guys need anything. Again, when we're in lab, I need you to be extremely serious, extremely safe throughout this entire thing. We are dealing with flames here, and there's a potential to get hurt if you're goofing around. If I do see that anyone is goofing around, I'm kicking you out of lab. All right, so let me know if you guys need anything, and have a good day. Bye.